press record. Okay, so now that the exam is so close, what you should be studying with is your syllabus, right? What's most important is that you cover each objective that they require you to know. Series and sequences. Students should be able to define a sequence in terms of an, where n is a positive integer. Write a specific term from the formula for the nth term of a sequence. Define a series as the sum of the terms of a sequence. Identify arithmetic and geometric series. Derive expressions for the general terms and sums of finite arithmetic and finite and infinite geometric series. Show that all arithmetic series except for zero, common difference, or divergence, and that. Calculate the sum of arithmetic and geometric series to a given number of terms and find the sum of a convergent geometric series. So today, I plan to cover most of this, except for this right here, sigma notation, because you need to know how to read sigma notation, right? Maybe another class, but the rest, I plan to cover it today with the past papers as well. So let's start. Right. So what is a sequence? A sequence is a set of numbers which follow, so we follow, I'll change that. Actually, no, it follows. Anyways, follows a pattern or rule. For example, 2, 5, 8, 11. This does follow a pattern because for each successive term, we have to add 3. 2 plus 3 is 5, 5 plus 3 is 8, 8 plus 3 is 11. So yes, it follows a pattern, therefore this is a sequence. This too. 1, 3, 9, 27. We get successive terms by multiplying by 3. 1 by 3 is 3, 3 by 3 is 9, 9 by 3 is 27. So these are examples of sequences. What is a finite and infinite sequence? So a finite sequence has a fixed number of terms, or you're actually given a last term. For example, 2, 5, 8, 11. I can tell you that this right here is my entire sequence. I only have 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers in this sequence. Or it could be written like this, where you have an ellipse in the middle of the sequence, right? But what's important for a finite sequence is that you're given a last term. For this right here, the last term is 11. For this one, the last term is 23. That's different from an infinite sequence. And you're not given a fixed number of terms. For infinite sequences, what you would see is an ellipse at the end right there. That goes to show you that there isn't a fixed number of terms in this sequence. This could go on forever. So we already said from the example before, this is a sequence because we get successive terms by adding 3, meaning that the next term would be 14, and then the next one would be 17, the next one would be 20, then 23, then 26. This would go on forever. Why? Because it's an infinite sequence, which is different from these two. I have a last term. My last term is 11, last term is 23. So these two sequences only go up to 11. This one only goes up to 23. But this one could go on forever because it's an infinite sequence. Do you understand that? Yes. Okay, nice. So that's important for you to know later. Types of sequences. So for your exam, you're required to know these two types: arithmetic sequences and geometric sequences. So we need to know the difference and characteristics for each one of them. Arithmetic sequences are also known as arithmetic progressions. That's where you get the name AP. AP, arithmetic progression, and GP, geometric progression. Consider the following sequence: 2, 5, 8, 11. The example from before. We said this is called a sequence because it follows a pattern. we get successive terms by adding 3. This right here is called an arithmetic sequence. But why? It's because a constant amount is continuously added or subtracted. This right here, this is the important part. A constant amount added or subtracted. That's what makes it an arithmetic sequence. The constant amount that is added or subtracted is called the common difference. For this example right here, the 2, 5, 8, 11, the common difference is actually 3. How did we get that? Just now, right? Constant amount added is 3, so the common difference is 3. How do you find the general formula for the nth term of arithmetic sequence? So let's say they ask you to do this on a paper. This is what you have to do, right? We'll do an example just now. Okay. General formula for the nth term. Well, for an arithmetic sequence, this is how you find the nth term. For people who don't like to, memorize things, you may not like doing this because you have to know this. But it's actually on the formula sheet, so you don't necessarily have to learn it off. But it's good to know because you never know what could happen, right? Next thing you mess up the formula sheet or something. But anyways, you have to know this, okay? So Tn is equal to A plus n minus 1 by D, where A is the first term in the sequence and D is the common difference, which is the constant amount that is continuously being added or subtracted. And you need to note, the common difference is the difference between any two consecutive terms in an AP. So when you are given a sequence and you're required to find the common difference of that sequence, this is what you do. You would say the second term minus the first term, or you could say the third term minus the second term. You'll get the same thing, right? And let me just show you with the same example from before. 2, 5, what am I doing? 5. 2, 5, 8, 11. We said this is an arithmetic sequence. But let's say they did not tell me that the common difference is 3. I needed to find the common difference. So what would you do? Well, you could say the second term minus the first term. So the second term is 5, first term is 2. Therefore, my common difference is equal to 5 minus 2, which would give me 3. But you don't have to say the second term minus the first term. I can also say the third term minus the second term. Once it's between two consecutive terms, consecutive meaning one coming right after the next. Hold on, start this topic this week. Oh, that is interesting. So I didn't have to say the second term minus the first term. I could also say the third term minus the second term. So I could say 8 minus 5. I would get the same answer. So 8 minus 5, 3. My common difference is 3. So that's how you find the common difference. Nothing too complicated, right? Do you understand that?
Yes, miss.
Nice. Cool. So this is basic stuff. Oh, went the wrong way. And like I said, you just have to learn off that formula, right? And it's on the formula sheet. So just in case you forgot, just look at it, right? Example. Say given an AP 2468, find the specific formula for the nth term and hence find the 8th term. So this is what I was saying, they might ask you to find the nth term. Okay. So how do you find the nth term of a specific AP? Well, the first thing you need to do, identify the first term and the common difference. So first term is the term that comes first. So it's 2, the number that comes first. It's 2. So A is 2. D is my common difference. I can actually look at this and tell that the common difference is 2. Because I know 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 2 is 6, 6 plus 2 is 8. So I could just eyeball this, right? But that's not the case all the time. So just in case, common difference, remember, is the second term minus the first term, or you could say third term minus the second term. once it's between two consecutive terms, right? So let's say I wanted to use the second and first term. Second term minus first term would give me my common difference, 2. Or I could say, let me use the fourth and the third term. So fourth term minus third term, 2. My common difference is 2. Yes, right. So like I said, for this specific AP, you could eyeball the common difference, right? It's not that difficult. But what if you have, like, I don't know, fractions or something? It wouldn't be that easy, right? So just know how you calculate the common difference, just in case you can't look and figure it out. Second step, sub these values into the general formula. So this is the general formula for AP to find the nth term. We know that A is 2, so instead of putting the A, I would replace it with 2. I highlighted it in yellow. N minus 1 and D, 2. So instead of putting D, I replace it with 2. And I simplify this. So if I expand these brackets, 2 by n is 2n, 2 by minus 1 is minus 2. This would cancel because 2 minus 2 is 0. So I'll just remain with 2n. Therefore, my nth term for this specific AP is 2n. Do you understand that?
Yes, Miss.
Nice. No questions, going once. Okay. Nothing too difficult so far, right? Okay, now if they want me to find the specific, miss, wouldn't you have to plug in 8? Oh yes, this is just the first part of the question when they asked me to find the specific formula for the nth term. Now I'm gonna substitute the 8 in there. Hence find the 8th term. 8th term, what does that mean to me? If they want me to find the 8th term, that means that you see this n right here, this n, I have to substitute 8 instead. So instead of putting n, I'm going to put 8. Find the value of a specific term in an AP, just replace the n with whatever number you want to find. So they asked me for the 8th term, so instead of putting n, I'm going to replace that with 8. So T8, which means the 8th term, would be 2 by 8, which is 16. So the 8th term of this sequence would be 16. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Let me just tell you what, actually, should I? No, let me tell you now. For this specific example, they asked me to find the specific formula for the nth term first. That was the first part of this question. So let me just say this is part A, and then this, to find the 8th term, is part B. I'm sure you heard before, the teachers probably told you something. When you see this word hence, they imply that you have to use your answer from the first part of the question, which is Tn is equal to 2n, so that's my nth term, to find this 8th term. That's why they use hence here, right? Because they want me to use the answer from part A to find part B. So you probably heard that already, right? But you've probably also done this in school. Let's say this is the example. So they gave me the AP 2468, but let's just say they asked me to find the 8th term. So let me cross off this. They then asked me to find a specific formula for the nth term. All they said was, okay, this is the AP 2468, find the 8th term. You don't have to go find this whole and the specific formula for the nth term or whatever. You could actually say, okay, this is my general formula. I want to find the 8th term. All I have to do is T of 8, which is the 8th term, is equal to a, which is 2, plus n minus 1. N would be 8, right? Because I'm trying to find the 8th term. So that's 8 minus 1, and I already found out that b is 2. Simplify this, and you would get your 8th term. 8 minus 1, 7. 7 by 2 is 14. 14 plus 2 is 16. So unless they ask you to find the specific formula for the nth term, you don't have to do that. They want you to find the 8th term, okay, substitute it into your general formula. But if they ask you to find the specific formula for the nth term first, that's when you have to do all of this to get the TLN. I mean, Tn is equal to 2n, then you can substitute the 8. Do you understand that? If you're confused, let me know, right? Okay, good. So you don't always have to do this thing. It's only when they ask you to do it. All right, simple thing, simple thing. So that was one example. Good. That was one example. So that's, you might get a question like that, but you might also get a question like this. Example 2. The 4th term of an AP is 13. The 10th term is 31. And they want you to find the 20th term. If you get a question like this, 4th term is 13, 10th is 31. I know one time, if I see a question in this format, I need to make 2 equations and solve simultaneously. You might be wondering why. Well, in order to find any term, you have to get your A and your D. You need to know the value of A and you need to know the value of D. That's the only way you can substitute it into this formula to get a term. So first you need to find A and D. So I need to make 2 equations. They told me the 4th term is 13, so that means T4 is equal to 13. The 10th term is 31, so T10 is equal to 31. I can make 2 equations using this. From the general formula, Tn is equal to A plus n minus 1 by D. T of 4 is the same as saying A plus 4 minus 1 by D, and they told me this is equal to 13. T10 is A plus 10 minus 1 by D, which is equal to 31. Do you understand that?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, that was one person. What about the others? I just need to make it for me.
Yes, miss.
Okay, cool. So anytime you see a question like this, just know you need to find the A and D, so you need to solve simultaneously, right? Okay, I simplify this a little bit. So I get A plus 3D is equal to 13. That's my first equation. My second equation simplifies to A plus 9D is equal to 31. If I solve these simultaneously, meaning you could use substitution or elimination, you would get A is 4 and B is 3. Now, and only now that I have my A and my D, I could substitute it into the general formula to get the 20th term. I want the 20th term, meaning that n, instead of putting n in my general formula, I'm going to replace it with 20. So instead of putting n, I'll put 20. Is equal to A, which is 4, so I put the 4 here, plus n minus 1. We already said that the n is 20. So that's 20 minus 1 by D. We said the common difference is 3 by 3. Simplify this. 20 minus 1, that's 90. 90 by 3 plus 4 would give me 61. So the 20th term in this AP is 61. Do you understand that?
Yes,
Yes,
Miss.
miss.
Good. Nice. Okay, so I have a past paper here. Should I do it now? Yes. Just doing all the papers one time with you. That was 2015. Yes. D. Right. Thanks. So You see these questions under this topic, series and sequences, they love to bring questions like these, like real life application with all the annual thing and then interest, and this is my starting salary. You would see a lot of the questions similar to this, right? Love to bring questions like those. It's not as straightforward as the two examples I just showed you. When they, give you an AP and all you have to do is find the 20th to, they usually use money and all that, right? But same concept, very simple, no need to panic. So this is 2015, number 2, part D, just in case you want to write it down. An employee of a company is offered an annual starting salary of 36,000. Starting salary. What does that mean? That means that this 36,000 is my A. A meaning it's the first term. That's what I start off with, which increases by 2,400 per annum. This is my B. So you see, when you're doing your exam, you should do that, right? Underline the key points or write it in a corner. So, well, not in a corner, but where you put in your work in, write it down. Just make sure you note all the things you need for this specific question. So now, just reading this question, I know A is 36,000, D is 2,400. Determine the annual salary that the employee would receive in the 9th year. 9th year means that this is T9. That's it. That is all. Same concept. A lot of words, yeah? Real words. Same concept. It's very easy. Okay? So I have my A, I have my D. I know to find any term, I have to use this formula. So Tn is equal to A plus N minus 1 D. I want to find the 9th term. So I replace the N with 9. I have my A and D already. So A is 36,000. 1, 2, 3 plus N minus 1. N is 9. So that's 9 minus 1. And I know that D, because I already underlined it, is 2,400. All you have to do now is simplify, and that's it. All of that for 3 marks. Very simple. So can you tell me what answer you get?
$55,200.
Yeah, good job. Everybody got that right?
Yes, miss.
Fine, just for anybody watching this recording later on. 200. That's the answer. And that's it for 3 marks. Wait, 2 people answer me. Who did answer me? Somebody did answer me. I think it's Eden. Are you good? Yes, okay, nice. And that's it. That is all. Very simple. Back to this now. So that was it for APs. That is all. Like, it's that simple. Time for geometric sequences, also known as geometric progressions. That's where they get GP. So consider the following sequence. This is the same one from the first slide. 1, 3, 9, 27. We get successive terms by multiplying by 3. This is called a geometric sequence. Why? Because a constant amount is continuously being multiplied or divided. That's what makes it a geometric sequence. A constant amount being multiplied or divided continuously. So this constant amount is called the common ratio. Before, for my AP, the constant amount that was being added or subtracted is called the common difference. But for my GP, the constant amount that's being multiplied or divided is called the common ratio. For this example, since we are multiplying continuously by 3, 3 is called my common ratio. Do you understand that?
Yes, Miss.
Okay,
Yes, miss. Following.
good. The general formula, again, you have to learn this. I think this is on your formula sheet too, but please do not rely on that too much. Only if you forget, then you flip back, you check, and you come back in, right? So general formula for the nth term of a geometric sequence is Tn is equal to a r n t minus 1. You may have learned it like this. Tn is equal to a r n minus 1. The difference between this and this is that this has brackets and this doesn't have any brackets, right? The only reason I put brackets here is so that you wouldn't get confused. What do I mean by that? So let's say we're doing a question, calling some random numbers here. A is 2. Let's say R is 3, and that N is equal to 2 as well. So I have A, R, I have N. Let me use a different color. T, N is 2. So we're trying to find the second term. We said A is 2. We said R is 3. Let me just use 3. And then N minus 1, that would be 2 minus 1. So why did I use the brackets? It's important for you to know. You see this power here? Actually, it would make a difference here. Let me use N as 3 instead. N as 3, N as 3. You see this power? That's only for the R. So 3 minus 1 is 2. That's 2 by 3 to the power of 2. Please do not make the mistake and say, okay, 2 times 3 is 6. So it's 6 to the power of 2, which is 36. No. That power is for R. So this is wrong. You don't say 3 times 2 is 6 and then 6 squared is 36. No, do not do that. Please.
So that would be 6 square.
Yes,
6 square alone.
is equal to 36, but that's wrong.
No, I mean I'm talking about after that. Answer should be like 6 square.
If the answer should be 6 squared, like the correct answer.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's the wrong one. Because that's you saying 2 by 3 is 6, and then 6 squared is 36. But that's not what you're supposed to do. This power is only for the R. So the correct answer here would be 2 by 3 squared, 3 squared, 9. 9 by 2 is 18. This power is only for the R. So it's the R raised to this power, not A times R and then that result raised to the power. Do you understand that?
Yes, Miss.
I see. I see.
Yes. Wait, if you didn't answer me either. Yes. Miss, I didn't know that. Yes, please do not make that mistake. Do not make that. I remember I used to do that. That's why I started putting these brackets, so hopefully it helps you as well. It's the R that's raised to the power, not A times R and then raise that to the power. No, it's only for the R. Okay? Don't make that mistake. And then this note right down here, common ratio is the quotient of any two consecutive terms in an anyways. So just like to find my common difference, I had to say the second term minus the first term is the same as saying the third term minus the second term and whatever. Or you have to divide the terms. So it's the second term minus the first term is the same as saying the third term minus the second term, etc. So let me just do one example. the sequence that we had, 3, 9, 1, 3, 9, 27. If I want to find the common ratio, let's say I didn't know the common ratio was 3. I need to find it. Well, how would you do that? R is equal to the second term divided by the first term.
So 3/1,
Yes.
then 9/3, then 27/9.
Same as 9 on 3, which is the same as 27 on 9. That is how you find the common ratio of a GP. That's it. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Yes, miss.
Good. Calculations for GP. So you might get a question like this. A GP is given by 2, 1, and a half. This is 1, and then this is a half. Dot, dot, dot. Find a specific formula for nth, for the nth term, and hence find the fifth term. So just like before, first they want me to find the nth term, and because they use this word hence, they want me to use that nth formula there to find the fifth term. So how do you find the nth term? The GP. Identify your A and your R. For the AP, I have to identify my A and D, D being the common difference. For the GP, it's the A and R. R is the common ratio. So A is 2. Why is it 2? Because that's the first number I see. Remember, A is the first term, right? So whatever is the first number you see, that's 2. Common ratio, R. Remember, to find the common ratio, it's the second term divided by the first term, or you might say the third term, divided by the second term. Doesn't matter, right? Once it's 2 consecutive terms. So in this case, the second term is 1, first term is 2. So R is a half. Or you might say the third term, which is a half, divided by the second term, which is 1, which is also a half, right? So R is equal to a half. That's what we needed to find, A and R. Now that we have A and R, I could just substitute it into my general formula to find the specific formula for the nth term. A, 2, R, a half, and yeah, that's it. That is all you have to do. Very simple. The second part of the question now, they want me to find the fifth term. So I replace n with 5, and then I substitute that 5 into my formula that I just found, this right here. Simplify that a bit. 5 minus 1 is 4, so that's a half raised to the power of 4. A half raised to the power of 4, not 2 by a half, which is 1 raised to the power of 4. No. I'm looking at the R. That power is for the R. So it's a half to the power of 4, and then that multiplied by 2. Do you understand that?
Yes, miss.
Wait, can you repeat? Half times, wait, what?
2 by a half raised to the power of 4, which is equal to 2
Yeah.
by 1 on 16, because it's only the half that's raised to the power of 4, right? So a half raised to the power of 4 is 1 on 16. 2 by 1 on 16 is 1 on 8. That's how I got this. Understand?
I see. Yes.
Okay, so the fifth, good. So the fifth term of this GP is 1 on 8. That's it. But you might also get a question like this, similar to the AP one. They told you second term is this, fifth term is this. They want you to find the third term. So you see, the minute you see a question structured like this, where they give you the term number and then the value, 2 of them.
Those number are too big.
Can you repeat?
Those number are too big.
Too big. No. You know, that's why plenty people is getting wrong. You don't even try to question it. You just look at it and you find it looking too hard. So it's just difficult. No, very simple. So of course, just like the AP, where you needed to identify A and B before doing anything, for the GP, you need to know A and you need to know R. Why? Because if you're using this formula, you need to know your A and you need to know the R in order to find whatever term, right? So I make two equations just like before. Like I told you, if you see a question structured like this, you know one time you have to make two equations so simultaneously. So I do this, the second term, so that's T2 is equal to 1 on 18, T5 is equal to 4 on 243. Using my general formula, Tn is equal to A R n minus 1. A R n is 2 because I'm looking at the second term, so that's 2 minus 1 is equal to 1 on 18. And then for the fifth term, it's AR n minus 1 would be 5 minus 1 is equal to 4 on 243. Simplify this. 2 minus 1 is 1, so my power is 1. 5 minus 1 is 4, my power is 4. That's it. Do you understand that?
Yes, miss.
One,
Yes, miss.
3. Okay, good. Everybody answered. Nice. I need to actually no, let me.
Is the time almost run out?
Yeah, I saw that. I'll just explain this second part and then I will restart. So the next thing you want to do for GP, before for the AP, I solve simultaneously to find A and B. For my GP, see these two equations? I can actually divide them, putting the highest power on top because it just makes it easier, right? So the highest power divided by the lower power. So that would be this right here. Equation 2 divided by equation 1. Oh my, equation 1. We're going to restart this meeting and then, yeah, we'll continue.